Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/ProRevenge, where a narcissistic, entitled cheating wife gets absolutely wrecked. Let's begin. It's been a week, the roller coaster stopped, and now I'm just sitting at the bottom. Posted by Reddit user Dwayne the Crack Rock.
Last Sunday night, I confronted her. She confessed and exploded into a panic attack. At first, I thought, it was only a kiss. We can work this out, right? But I was in shock. A few hours later, I let out sobs I didn't know my body could produce. I truly loved this woman with everything. It was a coworker she met at a job I got her. I applied for her, set up the interview. I was so excited and happy she landed it. Finally had 2 incomes and we were paying off our debts. We were able to afford her a car and our budget was doing great. She made friends and was going out and I was happy for her. Gave me a little time to see my guys now and then. She seemed to really be happy. Couple months ago, she mentioned she had a little work crush on a guy at her job. I asked what she meant by crush, and she said she caught herself flirting with him and continued to do so, and got nervous coworkers were noticing. Said she stopped and wasn't sure where it came from. Something about how when you are young in school and get little crushes on other students in class. Said it wasn't going to go anywhere, and she was telling me because she hoped it would kill the silly little feelings. Few months go by, and every day more and more distance between us. I'm panicking, trying to understand why. We argue, and it's all bullshit. Arguments lead nowhere, and it felt like there was something missing. Finally, it all clicked in my head. The late work days, the work drinks every week. She turned off location sharing, and that was it. I confronted her. Ever since, I feel like she doesn't care. She doesn't care what she did to me at all. That she cares mostly about what she's losing. House, car, security, etc. She doesn't know who she loves and loves us both. Some guy she met a few months ago versus husband of 4 years and dating for 4 before that. The other guy is married too and makes me sick. She hasn't broken it off or promised to or anything. She's living at her parents' now, but my house is literally just filled with her clothes and her things. Our wedding bouquet framed in the bedroom. All these little things, it hurts so much. It's like she is an imposter, like a complete change in personality. I think of memories we had, and then think of how she's treated me the past week, and I just don't understand how any of this is real. At first it was rage, then sadness, panic attacks, high and lows cycling quick, and now it's just dull. Everything is dull. I really want to forget and move on, get through divorce and be free, but every night is waiting to fall asleep. Every morning alone, I'm trying to enjoy hobbies or see friends, but it all feels like wasting time. I haven't cooked for myself yet, and actually I haven't eaten a real meal in the past week, couple crackers or something. It just hurts so much, and she doesn't even know why she continued to pursue him until the inevitable happened. She's texting him for support and talking to him, confiding like she did with me. And for what? A couple of months of attention and a kiss? It just doesn't make any sense. It makes me feel like I never even knew her all these years. It was all an act. Does anyone have any resources? Any help with how to just move on and continue my life? How to find joy again? I keep being triggered by random things in my life and I just dissociate and panic. So much of me wants her to just say I'm sorry, take me back, and go back to how things were before. But I know that is impossible. Just none of this feels real. Short update 1. Lol. She talked to me and said how sorry she was and how it was all her fault. Checked messages, sent her mom a text that said, I know it's not my fault. Like LOL was a good reminder of who I'm dealing with and a good reminder I can't trust anything she says, no matter how much she claims she's sorry. Short update 2. Yeah, fully aware now after some therapy, reading, good videos, etc. that she is and was someone with serious personality issues. Videos describing BPD relationships have had almost exact quotes of things she's described to me. The confusing on identity, abandonment fears, the cycles she would go through. Personally, I feel a lot better knowing that this isn't normal, that the projection and total sudden loss of love for me is not normal, that simply she is someone with a serious mental illness and I fell into her trap. I have a lot of work to do after recognizing the emotional abuse I've gone through all these years. But it's a blessing, really. This was a good thing simply because I can move on. She's someone else's problem now. Now I just got to get her things out of my house and get the papers signed.
You know, OP, the quickest way to end the affair and snap her out of the affair fog is to tell the other betrayed spouse. Her affair partner will disappear quicker than a fart on a windy day when it's his marriage on the line. Plus, his wife deserves to know who she's sharing her life with, but I highly suggest doing that after the divorce papers are signed. Otherwise, your soon-to-be ex will do everything in her power to make this hell for you. Good luck, OP. And now for today's second story. Short my boyfriend $200 plus dollars? Enjoy your divorce. Posted by Reddit user Straight Trade.
Traditional long-time lurker and first-time poster, forgive me for any formatting or grammar errors. Hope y'all get a kick out of this. It's a super long one. A lot of people know I read it, so some details have been changed, but overall the story is as accurate as can be. So this whole debacle started in my freshman year of college. I went to a religious college, so there were a lot of really strict rules regarding curfew and punishments for not going to the mandatory worships. This comes into play later. Background on me. I am not a physically imposing young lady, just under 5 foot and 100 pounds soaking wet and wearing cinder block shoes. At this time, I had been recently dumped, and so I was starting college practically alone, as my ex and I were set to go to the same university, but he dropped out to join military school. Before we start, let's denote some names. Me is me, of course. Andy is my dear boyfriend, now fiancé. Jess is one of my best friends and roommate after the first quarter, and finally, the antagonist of the tale, Sam. Not real names, of course, and at the start of this, we were all 18. We are all 24 to 25 now. As this was a religious school, we had a sort of camp out in the week or two before classes started. It was meant to be a getting to know you kind of thing. And so we had things called family groups. I was a little freaked out, but in the group, there was one loud, overly friendly girl named Sam. Sam was the same ethnicity as me, and so we quickly bonded over a shared ethnic background and how similar we were. She had a boyfriend in the army, and I lamented my single status and how my ex basically ditched me for the Navy. She seemed perfect, sympathetic, social, and fun. I warmed up to our family group with the help of my new best friend. We had a great weekend and got to know others in the group, including Jess. Jess was quieter and more disinterested, with a classic case of resting bitch face, but eventually she warmed up to me and I to her. Sam didn't really like them, but you wouldn't know it unless she told you. The first sign of something off with her was during dinner. I was sitting with Jess and her friend from high school, Andy. He and I really hit it off, but as my heart was still freshly broken, I kept some boundaries up, but agreed to go watch a movie when we got back from the trip. Immediately, Sam pulled up a chair and was all over him, asking about his past, how he and Jess met, what he thought about her outfit, and on and on. I was a little miffed, but just ate my burrito. For the rest of the trip, Andy and I were hardly apart, and Sam got more and more passive-aggressive with bringing up my ex and how I was moving on too quickly. I believed her and canceled my date with Andy, said that I didn't want him to just be a rebound. He was understanding and chill with just being friends, which was a blessing for me, but seemingly not good enough for Sam. After the trip was over, I decided to show them around the city since I was a local student. While the others put their stuff in their rooms, Sam asked me to stay behind because she had to confess something to me. She started spewing some bullshit about how Andy had cornered her outside the cabin and was being a pervert and telling her how beautiful she was, so on and so forth. I was skeptical and made it known, but her response was just looking out for you, girly. By then, the others came back, and I just decided to ignore what she said and have a good time in the city. This was incident 1. A couple weeks go by. Andy, Jess, and I became a little squad of sorts because all our schedules matched up, whereas finding time to hang out with Sam was more than difficult. This all came to a head when Jess and Andy planned a little trip to the local Benihana place and didn't invite Sam. She found out via social media and flew off the handle. I had gone home for the weekend, and when I came back on Monday, I was greeted with drama, tears, and accusations. The gist of the situation is, the group didn't invite Sam because she is vegetarian and has a lot of allergies, so it would be dangerous to even step foot in the Benihana. And in retaliation, Sam took her best friends, aka random girls from the dorm, horseback riding, and posted a photo with the caption, "Better than Benihana." Incident 2. Once again, this is what I came back to, and so things were pretty frosty. I asked for some backstory, and apparently, it was work friends who invited Andy and Jess, so it wasn't even their place to invite someone else. And it wasn't like she would be able to eat anything at the Benihana anyways, so they literally didn't even think they were being rude. According to Sam, they were purposefully excluding her, and that no one likes her, and that this was just like it was in high school. She didn't have very many friends, and we were just becoming privy to why exactly that was. Incident 3 was the friendship bracelets. She ordered these semi-expensive bracelets for me and Jess, but mysteriously Jess's broke in the mail, and the replacement would totally come any day now. Jess pretended not to be hurt, but it obviously stung when she would fawn over our bracelets and how we are such great friends. Spoiler, the bracelet never came. Now I was still trying to smooth things over, but it kept getting worse and worse. If I was hanging out with Andy or Jess, she wouldn't speak to me, but would only talk shit when we were alone. During all of this, Andy and I kept getting closer and eventually started dating, but low-key, because the whole situation with Sam, and we didn't want to set her off. I know we were spineless back then. Now for the catalyst for the revenge. She was a wannabe YouTuber and wanted to do a holiday video. Andy is a film major, but he doesn't want anything to do with her, after all her lies and petty behavior. But then she made an offer we couldn't refuse. I'll give you $200 and pay for food. And for what should have been an hour or two of filming, we were sold. I was set to manage the site, since my personality is get it done, and he was in charge of filming. He worked so hard on it, y'all. He storyboarded, he made a script for her, he got all his equipment together. I was so proud of him. I contacted the diner where we were filming and got everything together, and we were set. Filming day arrives, and we get our hair and makeup done for the actors and actresses, and we all get to the diner an hour before, at her insistence, and set up. She says she'll be 30 minutes late, and so we decide to eat after shooting some B-roll. Guess how long it took her and her entourage to arrive? 2 whole hours. We finally get filming, and if you are counting, we have been at the diner for 4 hours, pre-filming. We spend another 2 hours filming, and we have to take after pics in our outfits and everything. Did she pay for our food? Nope. And she tells Andy, you got a big payday coming. You deserve more than $200 for today. He's happy because he wanted to take me out for a nice date for the holiday, but spoiler again, she didn't pay up. So a week or two goes by and it gets closer and closer to holiday, and we already turned over all the footage. We are just waiting for payment. Then came the excuses. I don't trust Zelle. I'm waiting for my auntie to pay me. My aunt's in the Caribbean right now, and she doesn't trust Zelle either. We kept hounding her for the money, and the holiday came and went. She posted the video and stopped answering texts. Since we all lived together, I confronted her, and more excuses. Then she said, give her 2 more weeks. During those 2 weeks, she told everyone who would listen that she already paid us, and that we were terrible people to try and extort her for more. Now at this point in the year, we are fed up with her, and Andy is ready to write the $200 off. He bitches to his smoking buddies, and the smoking buddies get our side of the story out to the relatively small school, and pretty soon, she doesn't have a leg to stand on. She gets nasty, texting me all this bullshit about how Andy is cheating on me and that I deserve better, and screenshots of their conversations where he supposedly tells her how he'd rather not be committed. Now, we had some commitment issues in the beginning, on both sides, but she tried to present these texts as recent, not stuff from months ago. The final straw was when she called me stupid and naive for staying in the relationship despite him being a greedy man whore. Now I was going scorched earth. For some background on Sam, she was a chronic cheater, like get drunk at a party and give a guy a blowjob cheater, then go out the next weekend and do it again. She was also married. She and her husband got married right out of high school, which is typical of army guys in my experience. The ink wasn't even dry on the marriage certificate, less than a year, when she burned us. But I was someone she chose to confide in, since she thought I was too stupid to see through her after all the shit she put us through. So I gathered evidence, all the cheated, the videos of her doing shit at parties, sexts with various guys, the drinking binges, and her shit-talking her loving army boyfriend. I gathered all of this information for more than a year. I felt horrible for the guy, but I needed a file that would damn her to legal hell. D-Day arrived when about a year and a half after I met her. She told me that she thought her husband was cheating, as when he was deployed, She found a video on his phone of him and his buddy dancing on some girls in a club. Sam was livid. She was cursing and swearing she would take him for every cent in court for cheating on her. Never mind that she was blowing guys for fun every other weekend. I asked her if she had proof, and she said that proof doesn't matter. They always believe the hurt wife. I complied all my evidence and wrote a very long apology letter for waiting this long and sent it anonymously. Sam didn't return to school the next year, and I kinda lost track of her. I got reminded when my fiancé showed me that terrible video we did for her. I confessed what I did, and we social media stalked her accounts. She now posts a lot of single and loving it memes, and she has a few vlogs talking about fake friends and how simple living is the best. I guess that's a consequence of losing her luxurious rich girl lifestyle that her husband's family provided for her. Looking at her ex-husband's page, he has a beautiful wife and a baby on the way, looking way happier than I'd ever see him. TLDR. So yeah, don't be a bitch and short people $200. It'll cost you your husband, your cushy lifestyle, respect, and 1 year of untransferable credits at an out-the-ass expensive school.
Narcissists never progress past their teenage years mentally. They seem to get almost, stuck in that self-centered teenage years where absolutely everything must be about them, and if it's not, they throw a tantrum. OP, you are a true bro to that guy. You saved him a shit ton of money, his reputation, his career, and possible decades of trauma. In a way, you saved his life, dude. Well done. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.